This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
The Minister of State for National Security, Keith Bell, has shed some light on the government's fight against the illicit drug trade.
The government has invested millions of dollars in a concerted effort to stop the illegal activity. Now, just Wednesday, 5 men were arrested in Andros after Drug Enforcement Unit officers confiscated more than 1,500 pounds of marijuana. Police credit intelligence for intercepting the drug smuggling group. And while law enforcement agencies have been successful, Minister Bell says government will never have the adequate resources to completely eradicate the drug trade.
It always remains a concern for us. Whether we have sufficient assets, we will never have sufficient assets because whereas a government has to spread resources to deal with housing, to deal with health, to deal with schools, to deal with food, to deal with national security. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Persons involved in that trade just simply are concerned with getting their commodity from producer country to consumer country, and that is their only focus. And so you will see, I think recently I saw on the news where they began using submarines. You see, and so it will always be a challenge.
In the next few weeks, Phase 3 of the multi-million-dollar redevelopment of the Lynden-Pindling International Airport will be complete. Phase 3 includes the new domestic international departures and domestic arrival terminals. Now that they're almost complete, the question is, what will happen with the current domestic departures building and other structures in the immediate area? Well, President and CEO of the Nassau Airport Development Company, Vernice Walkeen, says no final decision has been made as to what will happen next.
We're considering the options of either demolition and, new structures for various purposes, office spaces and other things. We've had a number of requests from interested parties for space. So we're looking at those options, and we will make a decision about that once we get past the opening of this terminal. We'll look at all of the serious options.
Now, additionally, NAT says with its reach extending as far out as Executive Airport and Odyssey International, some other operators may be looking to get a permanent base for fixed operations. Walkeen says a number of factors will come into play when a decision is in fact made on carriers searching for a fixed base of operation.
Part of the process involves looking at what is the demand for FBOs, because you don't want anyone to suffer because we have too many. So we try to be helpful to the people who are applying for FBOs to consider year-round demand for their operation, because there are times when even Odyssey and Executive are not fully utilized. So you don't want to encourage new FBOs if everybody's going to be underutilized to some degree or another. So we have received those kinds of applications, and we're taking a look at what the future demand will be given what we know about additional hotel inventory, with residential components being part of those products, and to help everybody to reach a point where we understand what the demand might be.
Back to school fever is in the air, and in Centerville, 120 children from that area were treated to a number of school giveaways, haircuts, and a movie during the special Back to School Bash, courtesy of the Centerville Urban Renewal 2.0. Officer in charge of the Urban Renewal Project in the area, Inspector Ricardo Richardson, says this outreach initiative is just one way to give back.
In the community, there's a whole lot of unfortunate children, and whether or not, regardless to however it is that the children come to be in the position they're not responsible, and so someone have to look out for them. And I think it's with this in mind that we took the initiative to step forward and see how best we can assist the children within this community. And even though we are officers here in the urban renewal, crime being our foremost focus, but we realize too that these kids, their criminal life began with mischief, and as they grow, the mischief grow and eventually turn into crime. And so what we're trying to do on a daily basis to see if we can find wholesome programs, wholesome activities that we can keep them busy.
Now, social worker Moni Gomez says hundreds of persons have come into her office searching for assistance every day, and talked about why partnering with Urban Renewal in this initiative was so important.
got 100 bags with books, pencils, and pens to give the children who are in need this morning. And then also, I'll be assisting with braiding hair and so forth, and giving little safety tips to our children, getting them all geared up for when school open. You know what to look for: good touch, bad touch, when to go to your guidance counselor if you find that you're in some crisis situation, or even so, I'm here at the office. If you're passing and you find that you're in a situation, feel free to always stop by and come and see me.
Young women will have the opportunity to win prizes and have a platform to speak on social issues by entering a series of pageants in November arranged by the Progressive Liberal Party. Committee member Pia Glover Roll says they're looking to train young ladies from all 38 constituencies and select 3. Screening for the young women takes place September 7th at PLP headquarters.
We will crown 3 queens: the Little Miss PLP, the Miss Teen PLP, and Miss PLP. The age ranges for Little Miss PLP is 9 to 12, Teen Miss is 13 to 17, and Miss PLP is 18 to 25. The pageant will be held on November 10th, 2013, and we're looking for contestants to come to our screening, which will be held on September 7th at the PLP headquarters on Farrington Road. We're looking for young ladies that are not afraid to voice their opinions and bring attention to causes in their communities. Somebody that will have a platform, and she will use the year of her reign to enlighten the community, enlighten the public nationally.
Well, coming up later on in sports, how high school sports will change this year.
And get ready for high school basketball. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. At the end of September, Commonwealth Bank is looking to redeem 50 million of its 85 million preferred stock. This is in response to the international accord known as Basel III, a set of standards issued by the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. Its purpose is to strengthen global capital rules to promote more resilient banks and banking systems. One of those standards caused all Commonwealth Bank's current structure of preference shares to lose their status as regulatory capital by 2023. The bank's shareholders approved management's recommendations to create new rights for unissued classes of preference shares that will qualify as regulatory capital under Basel III. The Caribbean Export Development Agency has launched a dual effort to improve industry standards and grow the region's spa and wellness sector. It's teamed up with the Caribbean Development Bank and the United Kingdom's Department for International Development to unveil industry standards for spa and wellness entities in CARIFORUM territories and the Caribbean Spa and Wellness Sector Strategy 2014 to 2018. This month, Caribbean Export will visit a number of Caribbean countries to promote these plans. And the world's largest gaming destination has devised a strategy to deal with persons who skip out on paying casino debt. Reuters is reporting that the plan launched in Macau is looking to publicly name those who don't pay their debts. So far, casinos have recovered about $8 million. However, this strategy is under scrutiny from the police for possibly breaking the law and under scrutiny from Chinese Territories Gaming Authority over privacy concerns. The website named at least 70 people from across China who have failed to repay gaming debts ranging from thousands to millions of yuan. Macau raked in $38 billion in gaming revenue last year. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain.